$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code WALK5 to get up to a $5 bonus on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code WALK5 to get up to a $5 bonus on your first tank. That's code WALK5 to get up to a $5 bonus on your first tank.
I'm Jamie Monticelli, WIDU Radio News. Cumberland County Schools will close for students on Friday, May 1st, changing the day to an optional work day for teachers and school-based staff. 12-month staff will follow their normal schedule. The decision was made after reviewing staff availability, as a significant number of employees have requested leave to attend the education rally in Raleigh. Based on that data, it was determined that adjusting the calendar is necessary to ensure the safety, supervision, and overall well-being of all students. The city of Fayetteville says their Office of Community Safety has awarded $100,000 in safe space activation grant funding to support community-led programs for youth, families, and residents throughout Fayetteville this summer. 4 community-based organizations were named the inaugural recipients of the Safe Space Activation Grant. Each awardee received $25,000 to activate safe, welcoming, and resource-connected spaces in neighborhoods across the city. From WIDU Radio, I'm Jamie Monticelli.
With the cold front slowly working its way out of the area, we'll still have some lingering cloud cover during the first part of the day, and we'll have a chance for some light rain as well. Then we'll see some clearing into the afternoon. Temperatures will be warm, a better chance for rain on Saturday. After starting in the upper 50s to around 60 degrees this morning with mostly cloudy skies, we'll see a bit of clearing this afternoon after the rain. Highs reach the low to mid 70s. We'll drop to around 50 Friday morning. I'm meteorologist Grant Skinner in the NCN Weather Center.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code WALK5 to get up to a $5 bonus on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code WALK5 to get up to a $5 bonus on your first tank. That's code WALK5 to get up to a $5 bonus on your first tank.
Hey, good morning to you. Back for Thursday. Got two phenomenal brothers in front of me, entrepreneurs, as well as they do other things in our community. We have Mayor Mitch Colvin is back with us.
Good morning,
and
sir.
also we have the premier civil rights attorney probably ever in Fayetteville, and that is attorney Alan W. Rogers.
Mary's baby boy. Yeah, again, good morning, good morning. So happy to be here with you this morning, Troy. You know, we often have early morning conversations.
Yes, sir.
Some of them are hot and some of them are cold, but they're always very entertaining.
Yes, sir.
I'm glad to see the mayor. Glad you could break away from your busy schedule.
Well, good. You too.
Hey, it was good to be here.
So you also guys are going. You'll be cutting the ribbon at 10 o'clock, correct?
right.
Yeah, just talk about that briefly before we go into the other stuff.
Yeah, we've got our MacArthur Road Sports Complex ribbon cutting right off of 295 and MacArthur Road. Kind of the final phases of the Parks and Rec build out. We'll host a multitude of ball fields, event meeting space, tracks, and we're trying to see if there's an opportunity to not only let it be used for baseball and softball, but maybe soccer and lacrosse, you know, so there's some conversion to it. But really the goal is to build up the tourism here for sports.
Yeah, that's awesome. And with the number of professional athletes that are coming out of our community, I think we need to see more of those type of opportunities for our young folks, both to stay busy so they're not coming to my office,
Right.
and be productive.
Well, and then a few weeks ago, a month ago, we did the walkthrough for the tennis complex, which will be a hosting site for tennis, pickleball tournaments. You know, we're building out and completing some of these other things. But yeah, like you said, it's a huge opportunity to keep our youth off the streets. You know, we just gave out $100,000 to four different groups for safe space activation. You know, which is alternative mentoring and programming to keep our young people out. You know, it was said on a very poorly watched broadcast the other day, all the city's building is gas stations. So first of all,
wow.
and these are by former elected people. Now, first of all, you know that the city doesn't build any gas stations.
Right,
Whatever
right.
we build are public facilities.
right.
So just stay tuned today for ribbon cutting. It's something we actually did build, and
You know,
and then we'll go from there.
Well, we all have haters. You know, I was just telling Darksboro earlier, you know, I was in Durham yesterday.
Yeah.
And it is amazing to be downtown Durham and see all the development that has happened. You know, and I constantly hear the mayor talk about the challenges of bringing that kind of energy to Fayetteville. And I know, having gone to Chapel Hill Law School, that Durham is only an hour and a half down the road. And for them to have achieved what they have, it clearly says that we have to have more vision and action.
Right, absolutely. And I talked to, you know, I've served with probably the last three mayors there. So Bell is a mentor, but he was coming off when I came on. But I know Leo, current mayor there, and some of the things that they're going through with that growth, because the community's changing, and some of the traditional stuff in Durham is diverse as well, and just. But you think about their planning for technology and innovation in Durham and medicine, and they're benefiting now from people who made those plans.
Well, see, and that's why, you know, actually the mayor is back on today. You know, he normally comes on once a month, but of course, when something happens, you know, we want him to be able to share with the community. They had their council meeting on Monday night, and there are some things that occurred that we need to talk about. Matter of fact, a friend of mine told me to tell you to look at what's going on in Charlotte at the mayor there, and be careful.
Yeah. I talked to her about that before that happened.
All right, now I'm going to clarify that, Troy. I mean, you know,
Okay.
what's going on in Charlotte?
Oh well, they're dealing with similar decision, data centers. You know, but
Right.
Charlotte already has several.
Right.
And so the other day there was
And they're still in operation? I mean, the
yeah,
people haven't left
it's
the city,
actually still
and they're still drinking
a financial
water.
hub
Nobody's
for
died.
America. Right.
Okay,
Yeah,
go ahead.
Yeah, but the mayor stopped, you know, kind of a last-minute vote to throw a moratorium in, and she was the deciding vote. She votes in the event of a tie, and so she did that. But America's dealing with this, and at some point the state is going to step in. You know, I heard Hakeem Jeffers the other day said that if they win the House back, they're going to prioritize just putting guardrails. Everybody's talking about guardrails. That's what the city council's talking about. The pause is for us to get guardrails in place to make sure that you do it. I think people want to interchange moratorium with denials. You legally, and that's what was talked about the other night, the attorney gave us the rules of a moratorium. It has to be for a specific purpose or outcome. It has to have good faith efforts at trying to find whatever it is that you're asking for. And it's a temporary pause. It is not a denial. You're not able to deny businesses the opportunity to exist based on that. And then people have the right to appeal it. So it's a lot more legal ramifications to it. Right. And burdens of proof. You've been an attorney. So we just said, let's pause this conversation while we do our homework.
Exactly. You know, again, guardrails, I mean, certainly makes sense to have some conditions to address concerns that people have. But it's kind of like traditionally the boogeyman. It's just a bad thing.
Well, that's the whole thing. It's not
fear, using fear.
Right. I didn't know, I hadn't heard a lot about them until a few months ago. But then I began to listen, and I'm trying to understand both sides of it. Mm-hmm. But the whole notion that we just don't need to do it at all don't make sense to me. Because, I mean, it's just like, okay, because see, look, it's like either you're going to be the Jetsons or the Flintstones.
Well, you know, and I said to some friends earlier, I said that the word Sanderson Farms ring a bell.
Oh, man, look,
and they're like, well, no. I mean, wait a minute, you know, we have been known to pass up on opportunities because of the boogeyman. Yeah. And I would expect folks who are responsible, and I'm not talking about just elected officials, but I'm talking about people in the community that create this fear. What are they doing? You need to look at what they're doing to create opportunities.
Well, you make the perfect point, right? Because at the end of it, the people who are the loudest about these kind of things, you know, this is what kills me. We always have folks other than us telling us you don't need resource officers in your school. Right. You don't need shot spotter. We don't want titanium jobs. You don't need to build housing on this street. They tell us what our community needs, but they don't live in it. They don't spend any time in it. And they know what's best for us.
But they used to say, your son don't need to go to college, you need to go to them fields.
That's right. That's right. While his son goes to college. That's right. Right. So I think at the end of the day, you know, I'll probably get in trouble for this, but George Soros and the Koch brothers still end up at the top of the pyramid, right? Whether it's far left or far right, okay? And then you got to look at where this is coming from. Right. So somebody pushes down national and state level talking points to you to keep things out of your community, to keep safety. If you just look at just those four things, it's kind of the same group that we're talking about that have been against, you know, protections of shot spotter of any kind, against titanium jobs because, you know, $100,000 jobs are not needed here because whatever.
Right.
Even workforce housing at the end of the market, how is that controversial?
Right.
Okay.
Right. Oh, yeah.
That you just didn't build the right kind of houses, you know, and now you have an opportunity to get a tax base where we're talking about, you know, we were talking off air about the struggles the health department, social service, and Spring Lake was talking about closing schools last night. So we need the money in order to be able to not have to do these things.
Well, it's the same mindset that said that we need 95 to be so far away from downtown so as to not impact upon our growth. We don't want to grow to be too large.
Well, you know,
we don't need water. We don't need to
y'all talking about stuff that they get mad that we bring up.
Yeah.
But see, look, let's come back now to Sanderson Farms. Now, from what I saw, now I don't eat that type of food anyway, you know that.
I can tell by that shirt you got on. You never see nobody with a shirt on like that.
He don't eat chicken.
That's right.
Okay, all right. I'm going to deal with you later. Right. But anyway.
I see that shirt.
Okay, brother. All right, man. So look, but check it out. So look, Sanderson Farms packaged chicken was being sold at Harris Teeter.
Yeah.
That's the only store I knew in town that was selling it. Everybody else was selling Tyson and stuff like that. You go in the food line and Walmart and all that. Maybe some Sanderson was in there, but the people screaming the loudest, saying we don't want the plant here. We're eating the chicken.
Yeah, that's right. That's definitely Harris Teeter.
That's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Make it make sense, man.
Wait a minute. I mean, look. They weren't eating the chicken, brother. Okay. But you're right. I mean, this, though, to me, is just another example of missed opportunities. And we can't blame that on any one person, but the community just has to step up. You know, right now, my daughter is trying to move to Atlanta because North Carolina is 43 in paying their teachers.
Wow.
I mean, how can we say we value education and growth when we miss opportunities like that and we don't pay our teachers?
Yeah.
You talk about Spotify. We say law enforcement is so important, but yet when you see technology that would help, you say no.
Yeah. I mean, and so I think oftentimes people are not educated. Just go back to the Sanders and Farm part. There's just some folks who don't want anything, right? And so you can't elect us in good faith, and we can't serve in good faith if my job is not to get anything or do anything, because there never come with any ideas to say that you need to get more of this versus that. It's just we don't like this, we don't like that. So we can't govern like that. And I think I salute the city council for being forward thinking enough to say, hey, we're going to do our research, we'll do our homework, we'll be responsible, we'll put some guardrails in place, but at some point we've got to deal with the inevitable, which is progress and growth. You can't stop it.
How many jobs would you say, or do we know how many jobs?
Yeah, I mean, the tax base is one thing. So average value of these things are $4 or $5 billion. So they pay about $20 million a year in tax if it's at that number just to the city. So the county be 2025. The jobs probably 50 to 75, but they're engineering jobs. So I mean, it's 6-figure jobs. And so here in a place where our average wage is $53,000, right? That's a lot of money. And they tell us, well, Apex did a moratorium. Apex average median income is $146,000. I mean, we're in two completely different worlds.
Right.
And Wake County already has 10, so they don't need to do it.
Wow.
Yeah.
I was talking to a former PwC member, and basically he was saying when it was proposed some years ago, the former female director was greatly in favor of it because it's going to bring so much revenue.
Well, and the other thing, too, is from a PwC standpoint, I think during this 120 days, the goal is to get Tim Bryan and explain that, because energy concern is a big concern from people, which rightfully so. But here in our case, this is an opportunity for, PwC has a policy that if a company needs some infrastructure, that they pay for it. This is an opportunity, if you put it in the right place, that this is an upgrade to PwC's infrastructure. The Butler Warner plant is 40-year-old plant. I'm sure it's not as energy efficient as a modern plant would be. Right. So if there's an opportunity for them to build capacity and to have someone else share the cost in updating that, that's better for the environment, not worse. And so, I'm glad to have these practical conversations with people.
Right.
But when they already have their mind made up, it's kind of, you have to move on.
That's a good point. And I was thinking as you were speaking, in the past, when you had issues like this, often you'd have community forums to offer an opportunity to educate folks. But we've become so inflexible.
Right.
You either on or off. It's either this way or that, and I don't think that's realistic. I mean, I don't think any party or any person has such, has exclusive knowledge of what's best.
Well, yeah, and you have to have a comprehensive approach to things, right? Just like you have ShotSpotter, you have to have community programs. We're doing both. You got a $100,000 grant we just talked about you giving out to keep kids off the street, but you still got to have guardrails in place with protection. And some folks, you don't need to hire more police. You don't need to do it. You have to have both. And so I think, can this come into our community in a place that is not going to be in neighborhoods? This is a majority black council. We're not going to. I doubt. Matter of fact, I'll put my everything on it that the council, this council, is not going to vote to put a data center in the middle of a black neighborhood. Okay, that's not going to happen in Fayetteville, North Carolina. But the point is, can you put it in somewhere where we are not utilizing it? We've got hundreds of acres near the airport. No houses can go there because it's in the line of flight. And so does it make sense to get this tax revenue and to build that area up?
Absolutely.
So you got to be practical. But when you're dealing with folks that already have their mind made up, that's why they never answer the question when they come and they say, I get all these emails about moratorium. You should have did a moratorium. I said, well, tell me, is there any version of this at the end of the moratorium that you could support? If so, what? And they do not respond to that.
Oh, I had an interesting conversation with one of your council persons that was pushing that, and I didn't understand. Why not get information first as opposed to a moratorium first. But I'll tell you, Mr. Mayor, I got about 40 acres right down in Scotland County. If you need a place for it, you'd be welcome.
Well, the thing about it, Scotland County schools are going to receive the revenue along with the Rogers family.
We hope
and
so.
Cumberland County won't. But guess what? Duke Energy is going to spread that cost to Cumberland County residents.
Wow.
Even though it's in Scotland County. That's how that works.
So hopefully they're getting one. I don't know that they are. But
Well, this is the thing that people don't realize, that Duke spreads it out. So Scotland County can get the revenue, but Cumberland County can pay the electric bill. Now tell me what sense that makes.
None. And again, I think these information sessions are very important. I used to be opposed to AI. You know, the word AI is bad. I'm a writer. I don't need somebody writing for me. Until I realized AI could read 10,000 pages in just a short period of time and tell me what's important. Now all of a sudden, I'm like, maybe it's not so bad, right? And I was totally against it. But I think sometimes we have to open up and just say, be comprehensive in our approach, because there are potentially better ways of doing things.
Yeah, we see. I heard this. I heard the accusation that it was said that the council, all y'all want to do is bring something here, but y'all want to bring stuff here that's going to hurt people and all this other stuff and make money. That's all y'all concerned about is making money. I'm like, well, first of all, there's nothing wrong with making money.
Right.
Okay. And the response was, well, you can make an argument even against the wrong kind of restaurant.
Yeah.
Being
right,
and particularly in our neighborhoods, because it's not healthy food.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So, we don't have a grocery store on Murchison Road at all.
Right.
This whole track here, it's a food desert, and it's difficult for people to get on a bus and go over. I guess about a mile one way or a half a mile the other way. To bring food, to try to get food home. You know what I mean? I guess you got to Uber it in or whatever, which is an added expense. But my thing is that we're Tier 1 community.
Yep.
We know this.
Right.
How are we going to get out of this hole if we don't do something other than what we've been doing? Because if we continue to do the same things,
we'll get the same result.
Because there's some people that, we got to help the homeless. My compassion is for you.
Right.
But the Bible says,
go ahead.
The poor, you should always have among you. Okay, it means not to do nothing for them, that real. Okay,
but
it said they would be there anyway. Okay, so but my thing is, get us some money to lift us
that's
up.
what I was going to ask you.
Right.
Like, how many churches? You got Pastor in here. I'm going to put him on the spot, but any of his mission ministries can only work if the people pay their tithes. Right.
That's true. That's
right.
You can't say, don't bring me any tithes, or only bring me tithes on the first and second quarter of the year.
Right.
All right.
Right.
But you expect me to do all these programs to feed the homeless and to clothe them and to do those things. So you've got to have the money to do that stuff.
And that's why we don't have, Costco ain't coming here. Because they do the research.
They do the, yes.
And the Cheesecake Factory ain't coming here.
Look, you make a valid point, because right now I've got a retail strategy company who I am tired of getting the emails. Why we don't have a Trader Joe's? Why we don't have a Cheesecake Factory? Why you don't have these folks? They're national people who tell you what you have most of and why. Right, and it's based on demographics. So they put our screen up, and you saw these DGs and FDs, Dollar General, Family Dollar. Yeah. You saw your Circle K. You saw that. They locate in and around the demographic that they serve. Mm-hmm. Trader Joe's looks for a certain level of master's degree holders. Ours is 6%.
Right.
It's not going to get there until you get more master's degree holders. Cheesecake Factory, we're going to do the research there. But all of them drive based on some demographic, and so what kind of community do you want to be?
Right. I definitely don't think this is a Cheesecake Factory community. You know what I mean? You can't go from Dollar Tree to Cheesecake Factory.
The restaurants that come here do well. You hear me? I mean, the restaurants that come here do well, like the Bonefish. Very high performer, and Lone Star, very high performer.
Yeah, but I guess Cheesecake Factory takes it up even another level.
That's another level.
One of the things that I will never understand is our commitment to embrace Fort Bragg. I mean, I would be courting them day and night, and you couldn't tell me no just 1,000 times, because I'm sure they've not been as available as they could be because of some of the past relationships with mayors.
You mean court them as in what? Some of the partnerships?
Doing partnerships.
We got a good working relationship with them. The thing about Fort Bragg is they change command so often that you get a relationship built, and then you got another. The garrison's every 2, just like us. So you may work with one for a little bit, and then the command in general changes, and so it's a lot of rotation. But they've been a good partner. The city is now providing services on Fort Bragg. Like they're getting out of municipal services and concentrating more on war fighting and protection.
That's good.
And we're handling the trash, and we're going to handle the street paving, and we're doing those kind of things. And they're doing this partnership with us on MacArthur Road today. Fort Bragg gave us those 83 acres, but we had to do it and make it available for military use and families.
Yeah, because I do think that's an asset that we underutilize, even some of the businesses. I've often offered discounts to soldiers just because they're serving our country.
Well, and let me make another point.
Okay, because look,
you got to go to break.
I need to do a break. I'll come back and
I need to hit that.
Sure, my good friend throwing shade on me about my shirt, but that's
mean,
okay.
you know,
That's not. No. Don't apologize. Don't
shirt.
apologize, because I'm gonna get you back.
Where you get it from?
Don't apologize. I get you back. As a matter of fact, no. This is a Brooks Brothers shirt anyway. Okay, if you need to know that. All right.
The man got the memo. You see what he got on?
Anyway, our most able producer, Tammy. Please take us to a break.
Talk about
it? When I have my hands off of his throat, then you bring us back on, okay? We'll be right back.
If you can no longer work because of illness or injury, you should be collecting Social Security disability insurance benefits. Call Brent Adams now for a free consultation. Don't give up just because you've been turned down. Brent Adams has helped thousands collect full disability benefits, even after they've been turned down. Call now, 910-888-8888. Don't hesitate. Call 8. At Brent Adams & Associates, we make things right.
North Carolina's minimum wage has sat at the federal level of $7.25 since 2009, but House Bill 1059 could change that. The proposal by the House Democratic Caucus would raise the statewide minimum wage starting in 2027. Gas prices have been going up on a daily basis this week, and it's hurting a lot of drivers. ECU Health CEO was one of several healthcare leaders testifying before the U.S. House Ways and Means Committee, discussing the impact healthcare costs have on patients. A bill could move Pink Hill's municipal elections from odd-numbered years to even-numbered years and extend the term of current officials by 1 year in the Lenoir County town. Reporters Without Borders say press freedom globally is at its lowest level globally in 25 years. Mike Rayleigh, NCN News.
I'm Jamie Monticelli, WIDU Radio News. Cumberland County Schools will close for students on Friday, May 1st, changing the day to an optional workday for teachers and school-based staff. 12-month staff will follow their normal schedule. The decision was made after reviewing staff availability, as a significant number of employees have requested leave to attend the education rally in Raleigh. Based on that data, it was determined that adjusting the calendar is necessary to ensure the safety, supervision, and overall well-being of all students. The City of Fayetteville says their Office of Community Safety has awarded $100,000 in Safe Space Activation Grant funding to support community-led programs for youth, families, and residents throughout Fayetteville this summer. 4 community-based organizations were named the inaugural recipients of the Safe Space Activation Grant. Each awardee received $25,000 to activate safe, welcoming, and resource-connected spaces in neighborhoods across the city. From WIDU Radio, I'm Jamie Monticelli.
Good Thursday morning. We start your day with mostly cloudy skies and temperatures in the upper 50s to around 60 degrees. We'll have extra cloud cover, the chance for some light rain this morning into the early afternoon. Then we'll see some clearing later today. Highs will still be warm in the low to mid 70s. Then more clouds overnight with temperatures chillier, dropping to around 50. Will be partly cloudy for your Friday with highs in the low 70s. A better chance for rain on Saturday. I'm meteorologist Grant Skinner in the NCN Weather Center.
Carolina Complete Health. From neighborhoods in Charlotte to families in Greensboro, Raleigh, and Durham, all the way to Asheville and Wilmington, and everything in between. We are here for communities across North Carolina, connecting you to the care and support you need. We are here to make healthcare easier to access and understand. We are here to bridge the gap, because your health matters. Your community matters. You matter. We are here for your health. Visit hereforyourhealthnc.com.
It's celebration time again for all freshmen in high school through freshmen in college. Come join us at Faith Tabernacle Christian Center for Prom Night 26. Our guest for the evening will be Christian rap artist Mike Teasy. This event will take place Friday, May 1st at 7 p.m. and is designed exclusively for high school freshmen through college freshmen. Commemorative photos will be taken and can be purchased the day of the event, so dress your best and come ready to have some fun. Admission is free, but you must register to attend. Register on our website at ftccenter.org, or you can call the church 910-865-5252. Church groups and schools are welcome, but you must register as well. Doors open at 6 p.m., so come early and participate in our red carpet photo op. Let's celebrate your accomplishments for this year by joining us for Prom Night 26. For more detail, call 910-865-5252 or online at ftccenter.org. Space is limited.
Hey, Cumberland County. Looking for a job with purpose? Cumberland County government is hiring. We offer great career opportunities where you can serve your community and grow your future. Explore openings and apply today at cumberlandcountync.gov/jobs. Need help? The county's recruitment team is here to guide you every step of the way. Visit cumberlandcountync.gov/jobs to apply to join the Cumberland County team.
Smokey the Bear.
Then you know why Smokey tells you when he sees you passing through. Remember, please be careful, it's the least that you can do.
What you desire, don't play with matches, don't play with fire.
After 80 years of learning his wildfire prevention tips, Smokey Bear lives within us all. Learn more at SmokeyBear.com. And remember,
only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Mitch Colvin, president of Colvin Funeral Home and Crematory. For over 50 years, our family has provided professional services with dignity, compassion, and respect with families during a time of need. We realize funeral services are as unique as those we're honoring. We offer a variety of affordable, quality services tailored to meet each family's needs, specializing in burial and cremation services. Proudly servicing Cumberland, Robeson, Hope, Harnett, Bladen, and surrounding counties from 2 locations, 2010 Murchison Road, Fayetteville, 1904 Elizabethtown Road, Lumberton. For more information, visit our website, www.hmcolvin.com.
I'm attorney Alan Rogers of the Rogers Law Firm, and I stand on the strong moral principles of my parents, the late Bishop Zach Rogers Jr. and First Lady Mary Rogers. I've practiced law for over 30 years, serving this community and surrounding communities from Cumberland County, Scotland County, and throughout North Carolina. We have a proven track record of putting 12 in the box, trying our cases, and bringing home victories. We've settled as well as gotten verdicts of millions of dollars, and we'll do the same for you. So give us a call at 910-433-0833, the Rogers Firm. With a proven track record, let us deliver for you.
And we're back now, again, having a vibrant discussion. There were discussions around, the data centers. And of course, entrepreneurship is something that our community needs. We can't totally rely on just government to fix everything. Now, you were talking about Durham?
Right, absolutely.
The growth. Entrepreneurship is huge. Matter of fact, because I talked to you about this young man. He went to Douglas Byrd, and then he went to Carolina and got his degree, and he bounced back and forth between Carolina and Duke. He has a doctorate now. I was watching PBS one night and saw this guy.
Oh, yeah.
And he was talking about that. I don't know if you remember his name, but he was talking about what they were doing in Durham. And matter of fact, he said he'd come back to Fayetteville, man, because that's where he's from, to help us. But we need some visionary stuff to happen, and this young man was traveling across the whole country.
And we have to celebrate the talent we have here. Darswell interviewed a young man from the area where Ipon lives, in the Grace Creek, and he was in the early development program, early college program. Darswell was a judge and went into competitions. The young man would go on to go to state, but asked his mom, could he take a leave because he wanted to build a game, and he built a virtual computer game that resulted in him, making $100 million, and then he sold it to one of the richest guys. I can't give his name, but I mean, Cumberland County, 19, 20-year-old is worth that kind of money. And had that kind of talent. That's what's important.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, we've got a lot of talent here, and you got a lot of things going. This Fayetteville Next, it started out as the Millennial Council Commission. When I first got elected, I wanted to figure out how it is we keep people like Shanae and my daughters and your daughter from going to college and moving on to another community. So they have done well. They did a panel at Fayetteville State the other day. It was jam-packed. They brought Douglas Byrd over there. But the amount of people who are in this city, young people who are returning, because what you have is they're figuring out that they can still work. Some of them were producing for Justin Bieber and J. Cole, Fayetteville Roots. The one who brought this together was a writer for a number of things. And so you've got a lot of talent here. The job is to show them how they can connect those relationships. Places like Denver give incentives for young people to do remote working, right? You give them $10,000 or $20,000 sign-up bonus like you do any other industry for them to come back and live in your community, but they can still work somewhere. Grant from the 2-6 Project, nationally recognized young man went to Morehouse that's got the 2-6 Project mentoring in Orange Street School.
Right.
They teach STEM and all of that. Grant went to Morehouse, brought his education and his relationships back. Him and J. Cole and Vic Blends are real good friends, and Dennis Smith. And so those guys coordinate and collaborate to bring things back to our community. So I think we've got a lot going for us. We haven't told our story and we hadn't been intentional about it.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say. We certainly have been very humble in not telling some stories that, in terms of things that you've done and I've known the council to do in investing in young people in the community. And it's a double-edged sword because, of course, when you talk about what you've done, then someone said, well, you didn't do it for me. Well, you probably didn't bring the credentials that they had to the table. But dinosaurs like myself just have to embrace the fact that people work differently. I was talking earlier on the break that some of the values our parents taught us, but the only thing I would say is you can lay in bed and make money.
No.
That's true.
Well, they have proven that, right? Because I could not figure out how America has a shortage of workers. I see all these kids don't really work anywhere.
Right.
And they still live and survive. And I'm like,
I mean,
so they day trading and they're doing all this other stuff.
Right. And every now and then I hear, well, I'm an influencer. What do you mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen a person start planting.
Yeah.
And then they start, to have the videos of their planting and videos of what it takes to build gardens and flowers and different soils and then different chemicals they use. And all of a sudden the chemical companies say, we want to make you an endorser.
Right.
I mean, they were to pay money for that kind of thing.
Oh, yeah.
But not only that, you got these kids that are doing the gaming. That's who the military is hiring.
Oh, yeah.
to fly their drones.
Yeah.
I mean, it just that.
To fly their drones.
Yeah,
and to teach them how to fly.
Teach them how to fly the drones.
Well, my man, I had a guy flying a drone, but it was going over the wall over there, the correctional center, and dropping some packages, man. You know what I'm saying? Well, see, that's how they do us. I mean, you know what I'm saying? That's how they do us. You know.
We're on the wrong end of that
That's
technology.
my man, you know, he's flying a drone. And he's serving the community.
Yeah.
I mean, they were serving as well. Everybody was serving. I mean, you know, true story, man.
Don't we know?
One of our best clients. I mean, committed. He was committed to his defense and everybody else. I'm sorry, man. I just had no flashback.
That's it.
So guys that are flying drones are now going to the military. That's awesome.
Oh yeah, but, you know, because there's a need for that kind of technology in the environment of the military. That's a great need for that.
Well, what you have is, because one of the 4 areas that we put our concentration on as we tried to figure out what we want to be as a community, cyber, technology, and defense are 2 big ones, healthcare, and then entrepreneurs. So we've learned that the government just did an order for 300,000 drones because the military strategy that we've been using is outdated. They're showing you that in Ukraine and what's happening in Iraq. They sent a $20,000 drone up, and we sent a $4 million missile to shoot it down. Now, who's going to win in that? You know what I mean? And so they're trying to figure out now how it is that we're not.
We lost that war stateside
but
already.
By the time it shot out, that's right. And so you can't do it quick enough, fast enough. So there's a drone. We hosted a drone, meeting, a conference, or whatever Robert Van Gans did at his office. It was well attended, first of its kind. But you got a lot of interesting companies that are here and coming here.
Yeah. And what are we doing in Cumberland County to make sure we're still building? We're still growing a community of people that will be employable.
One, that collaboration is big. So probably about 1.5, 2 years ago, started having conversations with city, county, university, hospital, FTCC, and Fort Bragg and the schools. Out of that, they had programs that were connected already, but now they started being more intentional about it. So FTCC and Fayetteville State have programs, and in the school, Dr. Bracey has tied in the early college to now you in the 8th, 9th, 10th grade, you can go to the technology path, and now you got an early college that'll have a medical concentration. So you can go to be a nurse. Fayetteville State got one of the best nursing programs in the state, or you can now go to this new medical school that'll be at Methodist. Wow. And so creating a path and building that from the 8th grade up is going to be huge to keep these kids here, because you don't have to convince that workforce to live in Fayetteville because they're from here. Their mom and grandmother's from here. So we think that's going to be big. And then you got to bring the amenities on, man. We talked about what's going on at 10 o'clock with the ribbon cutting, but downtown, I got a request into the council now for us to look at, get the information together for a hotel convention center downtown. We can't wait on the county to develop our downtown, right? Because it's shown that they want to do their investment out of downtown. They built the health department, social service, they put it over there. They built the Crown and they put it out there. They built the jail. They did give us that downtown. So we've got to figure out how it is that we bring some vibrancy so that these young kids say that they have something to do.
And I think also, as you said earlier, we got to better communicate what's going on, what the opportunities are. I mean, you once had a newspaper that really was just news. And now it's become more political, And so and then you get older folks that don't use social media, and you don't have a newspaper. So I'm hearing that there are a lot of things going on that are much better than people are talking about because they simply don't know. I mean, because again, you just don't have unbiased news anymore.
But Mr. Mayor, let me add that in, because see, I was sitting in one of your meetings one night. And I know they meant it harm, but I brought it up, and they said they was sharing with you all, your staff was saying, "Oh, this is easy because we let them at the desk go through this." But that's a person that's in front of that every day. Oh, yeah. You need to go get man off the street and bring that person in and say, "Can you do that?" Right. And then I was talking to the institution guys, and they were saying, well, we got a guy he's spitting this stuff out on social media every day. Da, da, da. I said, well, I never heard of it.
Right.
I said, well, they act like you can use that only.
Oh, yeah.
And that is what reaches people.
But
that's not the case. You can't use that by itself.
No.
It needs to be a media mix.
Right.
Because I consider myself
radio's what's
educated, but every time I talk to the mayor, I'm learning about new things that are happening.
Right.
And, I'm more conscious about that community flying those drones over the prison walls and things going on down at the courthouse. But this is need-to-know information. When we start talking about the different things that young people are doing and the opportunities, and I like the way you outline the different tracks because, we have to feel better about what's going on here.
Right.
And we say fib now, but some of our thought process and representation as citizens is still antiquated.
Yeah.
I was telling somebody the other day, everybody talking about they put the Coliseum way out there. Well, I mean, that might have been way out there 20 years ago, but that's 5 minutes down the road, guys. Let's come up with something new. It's way out there. I mean, come on, when is it?
It's no more than about 3 miles.
We're almost there. So we got to come up with something. But I think, again, if you continue to have that attitude toward it. I mean, I'm a little done with our county commissioners because they got that big dirt spot downtown that was supposed to be some kind of activity center. And it makes no sense that there appears to have been some motivation greater than what's for the good of the citizens.
But look, they started off, Alan, with $30 million. And by the time they finished it, they were talking over $200 million. I mean, it just, and not only that.
They go to boogeyman again.
No, they were going to use the food and beverage tax to pay for it for 25 years. I'd have to be 95 years old to see it paid for. You know what I'm saying? It's just that.
Well, let me weigh in on that. So here's the uniqueness to our community. We're like a unicorn in a lot of ways. So the powers that be back then got a specific bill for Fayetteville, Cumberland County, to add a food and beverage tax, which other communities have that, and to add a hotel motel tax, which other community has that. But they allowed the county to lock it up. So when they built the Coliseum out there in the mid-'90s, it was supposed to be to pay for that. And in 25 years, it's supposed to be paid for. But guess what? The maintenance wasn't done. They collected the tax. They locked the city out, which is a uniqueness here only. And now you still have to put more money into to bring the crown up to speed, or lock it up for another 25 years, like you said, to when you're in your 90s.
Right,
so
right.
Look at the opportunity that's been missing. That's why I'm saying the city of Fayetteville can't wait for 50 years for them to lock this tax up to build something out there that there's no support with. We got to get another plan, and that's a terrible strategy.
And Mr. Mayor, he's on the board.
He's now on the board, right?
Yeah, he's on the board. Don't say now. Just say he's on the board.
I'm finally on the board. It's Miss Jones. Yeah, I'm finally on the board. But again, I think as I consider downtown and look at places like Raleigh, I mean, somebody must have said the world was flat because we don't have a building over 3 stories downtown.
Go ahead on, man.
I don't see it. It's certainly not going to happen in our lifetime.
Well, no, it is. I think there's a couple of things. One is you can walk and chew gum at the same time. I think the Crown area can be developed, just like you have in Raleigh. You have what's going on downtown on Fayetteville Street. You have Glenwood. You have North Hills. I mean, so you can do these nodes of development, so you just got to be intentional about it. So they can do the Lenovo kind of style out there, which is what they're trying to do. Mm-hmm. That doesn't benefit us in downtown Fayetteville. That's kind of a Hope Mills-ish direction. But I think that as far as the downtown vertical construction, there were things that held it back. There was policy, rules and ordinances that didn't allow over certain heights. We stripped that down and took it. It's got a historic district, a fire district, and the UDO in your economic, your center of your business district. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever, right? Because you had intentional people who put things in place to keep it to the character that they wanted to keep it. They wanted it sleepy and slow and quiet and quaint, right? And they put the rules around it to do it. And we're unpacking that stuff now. The historic district and the fire district make it nearly impossible and impractical for somebody to come down there and build a new 10-story skyscraper.
And because they want to hold on to their history.
I've heard it when I first got on council. One of the council members, we were in strategic planning, they said, what do you vision the city to be? And one of them said Mayberry. And I got a council member that I won't call his name. He came on with me. He said, well, we're no black folk in Mayberry. So that's what we started. He said, well, we got to change this.
Absolutely. And you see that. I mean, we even see it in our court system. We have an agreement that they actually seem to still embrace, that rather than looking at the discovery, meaning the facts, the evidence that's brought to us in district court, we will waive probable cause hearings so that we can look at the discovery. Repeat that. Normally, before you go from district to superior, you got to prove that there is probable cause for this to go forward. They agreed some 50 years ago, we'll let you look at the discovery if you'll waive probable cause. Makes absolutely no sense. Because
not for the defendant.
It
makes a whole lot of sense for the prosecution.
So you put yourself at a disadvantage just to get a peek.
Well, if your guy's in jail, if you look at the discovery, it might cause you, and I'm sorry, you have a probable cause hearing before a judge. You may say, well, Your Honor, like the case we just had, got 1,000 pills in the car, black guy driving, white guy passenger, police stopped the car, charged the black guy, and tell the white guy, we can give you a ride home. Don't charge him with anything. I mean, that's basically what happened. You know, and it wasn't Fayetteville, it was the county, so you're okay. But the jury said that's ridiculous. But again, they have practices that are antiquated. And what you're talking about is, again, that kind of thing that, you know, is, I call it a market house mentality.
Yeah, very interesting.
I mean,
term.
Well, I mean, because slaves wasn't sold there. People just sold their
property.
Their property. You know? And let's say if you had a Brooks Brothers on. No, I'm joking.
Why everybody interrupts me this show?
But no, I tell you, I could get excited about the mayor's vision and different talent that we have here and programs that are going on. I was talking to Mr. Hare the other day just about using my box at the Coliseum to expose young kids to hockey, basketball, and just other activities. And he was telling me that some of these kids have never left the four corners of their block.
That's true. Right. Yeah.
You know, so I think the exposure is good, and to the extent that I know you're involved in that with that 2-6 group, man.
I mean, it's and I'm hoping that you being on the Crown Board out there, you know, build that into something that does more of that, because Absolutely. You know what we hear. And then the other part that I always have to remind the council, we've got a whole nother side of town with 50,000 people, West Fayetteville, that have to drive a significant amount of time to partake in anything downtown or at the Crown, right? And so now we've got to figure out how we build that up, because that's the fastest, hottest growing area we've got. You got a 2-story Publix going there. You got a Harris Teeter multi-floor with bar and all this stuff. That stuff you don't see in Fayetteville, but it's in Southwest Fayetteville. You know, and so. Yeah, well, it's really still in Fayetteville where that 2-story Publix is going.
I wasn't familiar with that.
Yeah, and so that area is growing. We've got to figure out how it is that we support it and get some transit services over there and do some of the things that the city needs to do.
Absolutely. You know, and I heard you talk earlier about questioning having outside consultations with local. You talked about a situation with somebody's Africa, but they're consulting local groups. I think the Coliseum is maybe one of those examples where you have some good folks, but you have a lot of people from outside of our community that are in that operation, totally running that. I'm not certain that it's connected well enough with what's going on now, even though we're a commission, but we're kind of like a lion with no teeth, you know? You know, but I'm certainly, I've only been on it for a couple of months, and I'm trying to find my way. But the notion that I'm going to sit on any board and not do whatever I can to try to have an impact. I asked the other day whether the city buses ran there, and they do.
Yeah.
And so I'm hoping that we're going to see more programs there to address and attract people to Fayetteville.
Yeah, that board used to hire and fire, and they're moving that away from some boards because they used to hire the executive that ran things out there, but that's not the case anymore now. I mean, you guys are like an advisory board.
That's exactly what it is. And, again, that will work. But, thank God for opportunities like this, because while we may be purely advisory, we can advise the people who vote and give them an inside scoop of what's going on with the people that they appoint and place in these positions. Because I want to see some action at the Coliseum, and I want to see some action at the Dust Bowl over there that was created. Now, I could give 2 of them shirts as to whose fault it was.
A minute and a half left. Mr. Mayor, I know it's okay. You know what? You see, I am going to get him back.
If you got a ticket, there's nowhere to park, and then you late for court, and then they're going to hold you in contempt. You should charge the commissioners for that. Right. If you late for court, you know where to park. Right. They're ready to hold you in contempt.
Okay, all right. Okay. Yeah, I got you. Okay, Mr. Mayor, the last minute is yours, and like I said, trust me, I will get him back.
No, this has been good. I enjoyed my good friend, Attorney Rogers, brought some excellent points about where we are, where we need to go. I think we have to determine what kind of community we want. We have to have people in place that have some forethought, some vision, some protection, of course. There's risk to everything, but you've got to be a part of the change or to go around you. So we've had enough of that, and I think that we just keep pushing our city in the right direction and keep educating. I appreciate you giving us the opportunity to explain these things.
I mean, we have community radio, and that's what we need to do. We need an opportunity where people can, mesh things out, not just 10, 15 minutes, because you can't discuss these things in 10, 15 minutes. And Attorney Rogers has a Saturday show.
Absolutely.
It's left-leaning, but anyway. All
Yeah,
right, whatever.
But at least
I got the last comment. Hold on.
You got the last word. Thank you.
Appreciate you. Love you guys, man. Look, I love you guys. Look, guys, thank you all for tuning in. And our most able producer there, Ms. Tammy Quick, and also Caleb Brown and his dad, and all that stuff said about them making millions. I saw his dad sitting there thinking, yeah, you know that, Caleb, you can go out and make $100 million too.
That's right. But don't just make $1. Make a difference.
Right. We out of here. Take care, guys.